G'day Brian, happy Friday to you and Kathleen as well. It's if there was some way of building an algorithm that could correlate commentators reiterating guidance and saying that we're waiting for something and the market being stagnant, you do okay on that one. It has been a little bit flat, hasn't it? And the catalyst that we are looking for is it looks like it's going to be an up direction or a down direction on this one. I think that potentially the market has just become a little bit too complacent with the assumption and the valuation that we're placing on it not being a contested election. So my basis for why the market has rallied has been not so much about the expectation of stimulus of an agreement between Mnuchin and Pelosi. It's been more about the fact that people are thinking that an uncontested election is a really, really strong buying opportunity either way. A blue wave is just as good for markets as the status quo, as long as it's uncontested. I think that maybe now people are starting to think that we've just maybe factored in a little bit too much complacency, and the potential for a contested election might be the next big volatility move. Well, we've seen. We go back to 2016 when us here in the Aussie session got a little bit blindsided, thinking that Trump was absolutely no chance and everything was going to be fine, and then suddenly all having to react on a beautiful Wednesday morning over here. For us, we definitely don't want that happening again. I don't think that anyone really wants to have that happen again. We've been fooled by the polls before. I think that there is now. I'm not saying that it's going to be a close. I'm not saying that Trump is going to win. I actually do believe the polls in this case. I think that the fact that the Trump campaign has diverted so much funds and energy away from where they should be having battles to Senate seats, to states where that's actually now they were supposed to be winning those by 15 points, and now they look like they're going to be close. And the redirection there is really showing that just how weak the Trump campaign is. However, I think that the potential that the red mirage does just pop up a little bit, that potentially if that silent Trump vote does come out in force, and if Biden is too much of a favourite and so he doesn't get the vote out as much as he should if he was more of an underdog, that maybe Trump having the votes on the day before the postal votes for a lot of those states are counted, and then really could swing the election after it. I think that the stage is set potentially. Yeah, go on, Brian. Oh, there's there's a little bit of stories behind those ones that's going on. I thought the banking could probably have done quite well. It might need interest rates to go up, but I think that maybe energy might be the flogging a bit of a dead horse there, Brian. But that those trades are done. It's more about the fact that we've rallied because the market has thought that a blue wave is coming, or that there will be some certainty with regards to the transition of power. Now, if that's already now baked in, then what more have you got to gain for it by being involved in the risk for the next couple of weeks, especially with anything that could potentially come up, potentially with a new second wave flare in Europe, and with more tragedy coming out of the US, and potentially anywhere else. Why hang around and wait for the next swan to come out and hit you in the face, when you could probably just collect a few profits and just be on the sideline, and we're taking the safe position in infrastructure and industrials, and happy to stay as far on the sidelines as that is involved, and just seeing what happens after that first Tuesday in November. Maybe not key parts of Asia. We're sort of saying we want to wait until we see who the next president actually is before we really start to go heavy into Asia. We think that emerging markets and emerging market currencies are are a very strong buy with a Biden presidency, because effectively you get the same you get the same sort of, maybe not positive, but you definitely get a more diplomatic view from the presidency there, and also the global supply chains moving out of China into other parts of Asia is strong in that case. Let's just wait until Tuesday. We like industrials and infrastructure in the States specifically, and owning it in US dollars. It's just easier that way. Specifically because there will be stimulus. It won't be now. There won't be stimulus now, but it's either going to be 1 trillion or 2 trillion, depending on which direction the Senate and the House goes over in the States, and an infrastructure bill which is going to be phenomenal. So it's the safest place to be is in those two places at the moment. We like the idea, and the ongoing idea that we've had is that because there's parallel economies and parallel internets, if you will, between the West and China, that it's better now to invest in companies that aren't American companies doing business and making money from China. We want to invest in the alternatives that are listed in China or in Hong Kong and are doing business in China. They're separated, they're segmented, they're not affected by what goes on in the rest of the world. Absolutely, Brian. We think that it's a cracking idea to own a few of those companies that are the alternatives to the Western companies, like your Amazons, like your Apples, etc. That we can own them in China, and that way you can stay insulated from anything that goes on outside of over in the West. Yes, it looked like everyone else was very much the same as I was, putting off a new phone purchase for a very long time, waiting for 5G to come out. Apple's new phone, the turnover rate of people getting a new phone was down to 16%. That was pretty low. So there's this huge backlog of people who are aching for this new iPhone. Hasn't been reflected in the share price, which is very interesting for me, that they're going to get a big kick of people turning their phone over, and I know that I'm one of them. So you have to be part of this new network, and you have to get a phone that connects to it. So it's there could be a bit of a lag on the old Apple stock price there, based on how many people need to turn over their phone in the next few months. No problem. Thank you.